Hey everyone, Mark HOSSLER, founder and CEO of Secure Choice Lending, coming to you today to do a 3-part video series about 1, why is it so difficult to get a home right now? How did we get here? Where is inventory at? 2, why I do not believe we are headed for another 2008 crash. And then 3, even though I do not believe that we're headed for a 2008 crash, what should we keep our eyes peeled for the future? So the first thing I want to discuss with you is how we got here. Why is it so difficult to get your offer accepted? Why is this market so much different than any other market that we've ever been in? And the number 1 reason is inventory. Inventory is at all-time lows. And as we can see, the number 1 reason why inventory is so dramatically low is the global pandemic. As we can see from the charts, inventory, which was already decreasing year over year, was pretty much cut in half in 2020 and 2021. Normally, during the spring and summer months where we see inventory increase, it was actually cut by more than 50% during the pandemic. So we were already at all-time lows in inventory. And then the pandemic cut us down to a level which we didn't even think was possible. Secondly, a reason that most people miss is the millennial population boom. Prime buying age is anywhere between ages 27 to 35. Millennials, who are right in that age, are coming into their first time home buying age. According to Census Bureau data, 4.8 million millennials will enter age 30 the next 3 years. So when you combine already rather limited inventory with the largest population boom our world has ever seen, it just really fuels to our insane demand. So reason number 3, housing tenure. Did you know that people are living in their houses longer than ever before? According to Redfin, a record 25.1% of US homeowners in 2020 had lived in the same home for more than 20 years, up from 14.3% in 2010 and up from 8.6% in 2005. So we're seeing nearly a 300% increase of people living in their home longer than what just 15, 16, 17 years ago. Moreover, in California, which has Proposition 13, which basically states that your property taxes can only increase so much per year, it is adding to homeowners not wanting to leave their property. Because a lot of these people who may have bought in 2010, 2011, 2012, $300,000, $400,000 home values, which are now valued at $800,000, well, they're still paying property taxes at that $400,000, $500,000 level. So if they were to sell and if they were to buy a new house at today's current market value, not only would they be paying a loan at that higher amount, but their property tax payment is going to be increasing almost double from what they're paying on their previously owned house. So that's fueling a lot of people to not want to sell their houses. So we have the population boom, we have low inventory, and then we have people just afraid to sell their homes because they don't want to take on extra property taxes where they normally wouldn't have to. So reason number 4, building and housing starts. Following the 2008 crash, builders' confidence was at all-time lows. So as you can see from the data, we really haven't picked up our housing starts to where we were even in that 2004, 2005, 2006 level. Confidence in our demographic is way better than ever before, yet we're still not building enough for the massive population that we currently have. Reason number 5, up until recently, mortgage rates were at all-time lows. They're still pretty low compared to historical standards, but when you look at 2020, you look at 2021, those are pretty much the lowest rates in the history of the United States. So what does that do? That adds more housing affordability for homeowners. So you have more people who can afford houses at today's market. You have more people wanting to get into the market because they're borrowing money at the lowest interest rates possible. So you add that, you add the millennial population boom, you talk about housing starts being low. We're just continuing to see this massive problem that we're all in right now. So this brings us to our final factor, investment. And let's break investment down into 2 things, large investors and small investors. Well, our large investors, our hedge funds, are essentially purchasing our real estate market in droves, already shocking our limited supply. And then secondly, we have small investors, people who own 10 homes or less. And as you can see from the data, large investors account for about 6% of the market share, and small investors account for about 27% of the market share, where owner-occupied properties are only 67% of our current market share. So as you can see, the total investor share of 33% is 5% larger market share than the average of our last decade. So to recap, when we already have such low limited inventory, which was pretty much cut in half from the global pandemic, housing starts pretty much at all-time lows, builders just not building enough homes, housing tenure at its longest time ever, people not wanting to sell their houses, the investors wanting to grow their portfolio, and a millennial population boom, which is the largest population we've ever seen, it truly leads to the most insane demand that the mortgage industry realistically has ever seen. Make sure to stay tuned for part 2 of the video series, which I will be going over why this is nothing like the 2008 financial crisis.